Hello everyone, OSW-Sim-Sports here, and this video, as you can see, is about the Panoz Esperante GTR-1, one of the cars that has achieved legendary status through Gran Turismo. But in my opinion, it more than deserves this legendary status because this car is absolutely nuts. Just listen to it for a moment. As you might have guessed by now, also with it being an American car, it is of course a V8, but it is not just some random V8. No, it is a 6 liter, which is 366 cubic inch of displacement, which is of course nuts. Now for some historical insight. The original Panoz Esperante was of course designed by Panoz, but once they decided to make a GTR-1 car, they hired Reynard Motorsport to actually do the construction. Now the big ass V8 comes from Roush Racing Ford, which also does a ton of NASCAR. And this engine specifically is the Elan 6L8. Now they started work on this car in 1996, and in 1997 they started out in the FIA GT Championship. Don Panoz, the owner of Panoz, insisted on the car remaining to a similar silhouette as the original Esperante, and because of that, compared to its counterpart, this car had a front engine layout instead of a mid-engine layout. But even with the massive engine in front, by shifting it back as far as it would go behind the rear axle, they still managed to achieve a decent weight balance. This gave it its signature look, which also gave it the nickname Batmobile very quickly. And as we are nearing the bus stop for the first time, let's focus on the driving for a little bit. Well, this car does have traction control, it doesn't have ABS, so it can be quite tough to get her stopped. Now here we go onto the main straight for the first time, letting the gear sink. And for this corner you want to brake a little bit earlier than normal, which you can see I didn't this time, and instantly you go deep because it's very tough to control her under the brakes. Now hard on the throttle again, and we go up towards Roush Racing. And just like that we are at 250 kilometers an hour. We don't have to lift for this corner at all, as it generates a ton of downforce at these speeds. As we pass an Aston Martin, I think it's a DBR9, like it's standing still, and just before we brake at the end of the Camel Straight we hit 299 kilometers an hour, which is around 180 miles an hour, which of course is really damn quick. Now heading into Bruxelles, this is one of the toughest corners without ABS, and it is very important to get the car stopped. We run a little bit wide, but we also get a very nice V corner. And as you can see also in the steering inputs, we have to work sometimes very hard in order to get the car to turn, but once it does, it does absolutely want to rotate, and it really feels like a true bred race car. As we head into Pouhon, important to get quickly on the throttle again. We get some very minor stutters here in the audio, but it will go away quickly. Trail braking deep here in this corner, making sure the car gets rotated before we go back on the throttle. Now you would think that a car like this in these type of corners would be very difficult to drive, but that could not be further from the truth. This car is a dream to drive. It's extremely stable, it's also very forgiving on the traction control, and it has a very nice rotation, as you can see, when you need it. As we are heading up to Blanchimont and then up to the bus stop, we go off track by a millimeter, which invalidates the lap, but luckily this is just single player, so it doesn't really matter. As hard on the brakes into the bus stops, and I thought I was on the brakes early enough, but no, I wasn't, and as you can see the lack of ABS bites me again. I really have to struggle to keep the car on the track, but I managed to do so, and we go across the line. Now this is a pretty decent lap to 11, which is of course a ton faster than the GT3s, even the modern ones. The difference is around 5 to 10 seconds depending on fuel and whether it's qualifying or race pace. And honestly, this is the main consideration why I really love these GT1 cars. And while they still have some semblance to a Grand Touring car, it isn't as complicated and prototype-like as the LMDH or hypercars that we have now. Just imagine how cool it would be to see this car and a few of its competitors within that era in a game like Le Mans Ultimate, for example, where it could essentially be the end game content for people who just simply prefer GT cars. While the era of GT1 cars is now very much gone today, I still very much think that they serve a place in modern sim racing, just because they are so fun to drive and allow for a lot of skill expression on the track. And of course a big shout out to the original Assetto Corsa, content manager and the custom shaders patch, which all enable this game to be extremely enjoyable still to play in 2025. Now it makes me very old to say, but I was one of the first adopters of both the original Assetto Corsa and later Assetto Corsa Competizione, so I have a very big soft spot for what Kunos Simulazione has offered over the years, and where the original R Factor and GTR2 have now pretty much died down to a point where they are no longer active, in the sense that there are no real new mods being released by the community. But it is of course awesome to see that AC is still thriving. Now with that all out of the way, I will stop rambling. If you like this video, you know what to do, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I have been OSW-Sim-Sports. Goodbye.